rather the obedience to the truth and the fulfillment thereof by the Spirit. Thus the rituals are a shadow of the reality that is in the Mashiach Yeshua. You can possess the reality without the shadow, but you cannot have the shadow without the reality. We choose to honor the holy days, not because we believe that there is efficacy in these days, but because the ideal of these days hold within it prophetic wisdom and knowledge of the revelation that is contained in these shadow images. This is the message that was given to the Messianic Hebrews in the epistle to the Hebrews, where it says, "Therefore, leaving the elementals of the doctrine of Messiah, let us go on to perfection." Yet the secular church teaches the impossibility of the church ever attaining to the state and condition of perfection, which entails the cleansing from all sin and lawlessness, and holds the people in the elementals of the Word. But perfection will not be achieved from the doctrinal foundation of the elementals of Mashiach that is established in the second secular church. There must be a breaking away from this system of aesthetic religion whose doctrines are based in mythological lore and monetary exploitation of the people whom they have made slaves to the cleric hierarchy and not to the righteousness of the Spirit given us from Yahweh through his Mashiach Yeshua. The ministry of the 144,000 is the ministry of reconciliation and not the ministry of financial success in this world. We have been committed to the ministry of reconciliation, to repair the world, Tikkun Ha'olam, from sin and error through the ministry of the Word and spiritual prayers of intercession before the throne. Revelations chapter 8. Read it. You'll understand the mystery of prayer in these verses of Scripture in Revelations 8. We who have stepped out of the grips of the beast and removed the idol of his image from our hearts are those spoken of in Revelations 15:2, where it says, "And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over the number of his name. They stood on the sea of glass having the harps of Elohim." Here we see the state and condition of those who have been redeemed from the earth. The sea of glass with fire represents an interior condition of these holy ones. The sea of glass signified their ontological condition that is conformed to the actual formation of divine truth, the Spirit, while the fire signifies the actual reality of the life of divine nature or the good of love, which is engrafted in those ontologically that have overcome the beast through obedience to the doctrine of the truth, that is, the commandments. To have victory over the beast is to overcome the doctrine of life deriving the spirit of error. To have victory over the image is to overcome the idolatrous image worship of the carnal man of sin. And the number of his name signifies the intelligence that is derived, that is, the intelligence of the dragon, the spirit of error, akin to the carnal mind. Such that attain to the life of truth that is from the divine good are those who qualify to enter the nation of Yahuwah, the house of Yahuwah. For Yahuwah is pure eternal good that manifests from himself the divine truth, called the Elohim, or Son of El. Yet these two are one. This is known because we understand that divine truth is the tabernacle of divine good, even as light is the tabernacle of divine heat. This we will speak on more in other lessons, because it is of utmost importance that the oneness of Elohim be honored above the pagan doctrine of the divine trinity of three distinct persons making one deity. It continues on to say that they stand on the sea of glass in which is fire, denoting that they live, have life, and have dominion from the truth of good alone in their life. Life denoted by fire. Having departed from the life of the self-will, that is, the will of the flesh, of the carnal mind. And lastly, it states that they have the harps of Elohim, signifying the message of reconciliation or peace with Elohim as the means of salvation from the affliction of sin and lawlessness. These things we'll speak on in other lessons. But for now, it is merely to prepare you to understand the direction we are moving towards. The purpose of the Father is that His will be fulfilled purely from an understanding that derives from His Spirit, and not the understanding or perception of the carnal mind, which veils the true vision of His will. 2 Corinthians 3:14. Every particular of the Spirit, as to the letter, is the containment of the spiritual realities of the working of Elohim's power to redeem us from the earthly condition that mankind has fallen into. Excuse me. Man was not created to be an independent agent, rather a vessel of the divine causality that brought forth the Elohim, and it the heavens, and it the earth. Genesis 1:1. The messengers of Satan, they who disguise themselves as messengers of light, they have caused the earth's inhabitants to be deluded into believing that the light of darkness that is produced from the flesh is the divine light that is produced from the divine. This is shown by the fact that every reference to the building of the kingdom is a reference towards external things instead of internal things. They ignore the teachings of the Messiah that says the kingdom of Elohim is within you, and have established a doctrine that keeps the laity of the secular church looking up in the sky of the earth for the signs of the end, when the concept of the end is taught in Scripture to be the achieving of the ultimate goal of the calling in Yeshua, the Mashiach. Which goal is to attain what? Riches of the earth? The glory of the kingdom? No, to attain the glory of Yeshua that He possesses from the Father. This needs to be understood, because the goal must be identified precisely. So this must be understood. Try reading 2 Thessalonians 1:14, and it will give you a clearer understanding, a definite understanding of what our goal that we seek to attain in Yeshua HaMashiach. We have therefore been grossly deceived by these merchants of error concerning our identity in the Messiah, and the definition of our identity grossly minimized to suit the enrichment of organized religion that will not nor can produce the holy nation that Yahweh intended to be produced through the ministry of His word by the Spirit. The way of Yeshua is not merely, or is not purely, a social manifesto that is to assist mankind in establishing a utopic society. Rather, it is the way of the sword of righteousness that severs His people from the darkness of this world, its greed, arrogance, and lawlessness. Therefore, we are called in the Torah, and by Kepha, the apostle, a holy nation, a nation that lives from the will and spirit of Yahweh alone. Any doctrine that does not emphatically emphasize the ideal that we are not of the world, though we are in it, and that define the blessings of Yahweh as the success you attain in this world, is a messenger of flesh, a messenger of death. And such doctrines are derived from the beast. Our riches are derived from the glory of Elohim and not the Federal Reserve Department. The secular church has led many sincere people in this way and has overthrown their faith. That is the gift of true faith. Understand, true faith. The faith of Yeshua causes us to become obedient unto death. Once we understand the true faith of Yeshua and the true purpose of faith given to us by Elohim, then we will be able to clearly discern whether the direction we are headed in is the direction appointed by the Father, or the direction of carnal religious men whose main concern is to attain the glory of the world and not the glory of the Father. So, let us understand, and let me point this out, that the 144,000, this number, represents the true nation of Yahweh's people, called in Revelation 7, Israel, an Israel that will arise out of every nation. Let us not be deceived and no longer patronize these mythological and fantastic doctrines. Let us not walk in fear of a one-world government that will rule the earth. No, we will rule the earth. For he has made us kings and priests to our Elohim and Abanu, and we shall reign over the earth. Keep this in mind, and let your mind be conformed to the reality of the Scripture and the revelation of the Scripture, and cast away these mythological doctrines of man that seek to keep you in captivity to the darkness of the flesh. Thank you. Shalom Aleichem.